show.
All
So
right.
you got a kid on your team, and his name is Bruno.
I get it.
And I tell you that when he makes the game-winning shot, that you should tell him that nobody talks about it, and you didn't get it, and now the light bulb is clicking, and that's how we're starting the show.
It clicked late. I'm sorry, man. It clicked late. I'm so sorry. Damn. And you know the worst thing is at every practice I'd be like, Bruno, we don't talk about you. And he would always laugh, but I can't believe I didn't get that. I'm disappointed in myself, actually.
That's funny. All right, so we are back on a snowy Wisconsin Wednesday, and I've been looking forward to this show like all week because like we only got 2 basketball games to talk about. We got 1 Bucks game and 1 Badgers game, and then we got our Brewers primer. I'm super excited because we got keychains to give away, we got buttons, so we're gonna be giving some stuff away, and we're talking about the Brewers later.
Okay.
And also, I get to break out the Yelly sweatshirt. So shout out to Tyler over at Wisco Ball. Like this sweatshirt, like it's so comfortable. Like the inside is so soft and comfortable, and like it fits well. It's comfortable. It's warm. Awesome. So if you want to check those out, you can get those at wiscoball.com. Thanks to Tyler for getting Wisco Fanatics shirts made for us as well. So you can get those also at Wisco Ball's website. So we're going to start with Badgers. No power pair this week because we only have 1 game to talk about. So it's going to be the same thing for the Bucks. Sorry, I'm so in Brewers mode right now because that's all I've been doing research on for the last like 4 days because the Badgers played on Saturday. So like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like all I've been thinking about is Brewers. And now we're here and we're going to talk about the Badgers who play tonight. But let's start with Badgers and Rutgers from Saturday. What stood out to you from that game? A gutty loss, but
I don't want to sound, disappointed or anything like that, even though I am a little bit, but people gotta chill. That's how I'm gonna start this. People gotta chill. It's not like they're losing every game by 25 and they're shooting 9% from the field and they're missing every shot. I mean, yes, they go through droughts, but for anybody who's been a lifelong Badgers fan, and I've seen people talking about, oh, Bo Ryan would be disappointed. For anybody who's been a lifelong Badgers fan, we went through scoring droughts with Bo Ryan. I'm just going to say that right now, okay? Yep. Not to take away from Bo Ryan's greatness, because obviously we love Bo Ryan, we love the Badgers, but it happens, man. Every team goes through droughts, obviously not to the capacity that the Badgers do. I almost said Brewers too. I have to pause.
Some do. I mean,
so what I was really going to say here is, the Badgers shot pretty well in the first half. I heard this stat on the radio. Matt LePay was on the radio. I believe it was on Monday, and he talked how the Badgers went 6 for 11 inside the arc in the first half. In the second half, they went 1 for 10. And he brought up a stat how the Rutgers are number 3 in the country defending the 2-point shot. So when you think about it, when you watch this game, and you said it right away when I was talking to you about this stat, you said that they were packing the paint, and they were. That's absolutely what their focus was. We are not going to allow them to score inside. We are going to make them beat us behind the arc. And what pro team in this state does that remind you of from the last couple seasons?
Exactly. It's the Mike Budenholzer system.
Exactly. And obviously the Badgers didn't knock down enough. They hit a couple. I mean, McGee hit a couple. Jordan Davis actually hit 1 or 2 of them. They hit some big shots. Max Klesman hit one right at the end of the first half to make it a 2-point game. They made some. They didn't make enough. And that's just what it was. They didn't make enough shots. I mean, they had the lead towards the end of this game, but the Rutgers ended up taking it back. At the end of the day, the Badgers are not a bad, horrible basketball team. And the Rutgers are not a bad, horrible team to lose to either. So this is not a terrible loss. I guess I'm going to let you go and then I'll feed off of you. But I just want people to freaking calm down, man. And everybody calling for Guard's head. It's just like, it's fucking ridiculous. Why are we game by game analysis on his job? That's not how this works.
So this is something that's going to kind of put people into a box. And that is, you can bring up Greg Gard's previous success in the Big Ten, right? Every time somebody's like, we need to fire Gard because of this one bad season. And then somebody brings up the fact that the Badgers have won 2 of the 3 last Big Ten titles. And when you say that, people instantly say, okay, That's a regular season thing. We don't care about that. What about the tournament? And now here the same people are wanting Greg Gard fired because they're having a bad regular season. So does the regular season matter or not? Or does it only matter in a season where they're not playing well, and it doesn't matter in a season where they win the Big Ten tournament?
Bingo. Fucking bingo.
Where do you draw the line on what regular season games matter?
You know what? I really wanted to have this. I'll wait. I'm going to bring up something that's similar to this discussion when we talk Bucks. So hold on to that thought. I'm just going to let you continue.
So that's where I'm at with it, because we're gonna basically start a catchphrase. And what's up, Tim? We're gonna basically start a catchphrase, and the phrase is, every time the Badgers play, is we're on the quest for madness. We want the Badgers to get into the March Madness tournament, so we're gonna call it Quest for Madness. That's what we're doing. It starts today. The Quest for Madness starts today.
Yes, sir.
So that's what we're doing with the Badgers. Now, Badgers against Rutgers. Badgers got off to a nice start. They were up 7-2 in the first 3 minutes. And then Chucky Hepburn got a super weak offensive foul call.
Yeah.
Like damn near flopping warning worthy offensive foul. A few possessions later, Chucky Hepburn tries to draw a charge, gets a shoulder to the chest. I would say something worth a no call, in my opinion. And Chucky Hepburn gets called for a block. I mean, off to a rough start already. And I hate blaming officials, and I'm not going to blame officials for the loss. But they got off to a rough start to this game, and it was tough for Chucky Hepburn to recover.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to blame Chucky Hepburn, because everybody's entitled to a bad game.
Yep.
Including Connor Esigian. Yep. And I'm going to talk about those two again when I get closer to the second half. Chucky Hepburn gets that weak offensive foul call. Rutgers hits back-to-back threes on their next two possessions after that. After that, Jordan Davis started to hunt his shot. He scored 5 straight points, gave the Badgers a 12-11 lead. Now, I posted this on Facebook, so if you follow us on Facebook, you might have seen this already. But the Badgers were down 11-7. They go on a 5-0 run to take a 12-11 lead.
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers goes on a 5-0 run to take a 16-12 lead. The Badgers then go on a third 5-0 run and make it 17-16. So 3 straight 5-0 runs between Wisconsin and Rutgers. I liked seeing Tyler Wall be more decisive in this game. First half, he takes one dribble, gets to the paint, and then does a wraparound pass to Stephen Crowell, who gets a wide-open dunk. That, to me, is where Tyler Wall is having his better games. It's where he's being more decisive.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm looking for from Tyler Wall. When he's back to the basket, and the same could be said for Stephen Crowell. When they're both back to the basket and they're just pounding the ball 4, 5, 6 times, it gives the defense, a chance to be, alert, ready, prepared, focused on whatever you're going to do, whatever move you're going to do. But if you have Tyler Wall, say he catches, spins, one dribble, and he's at the rim, that quickness, that is where I'm noticing the difference from Tyler Wall having good games and bad games. When Tyler Wall's dribbling the ball 3, 4, 5 times, and then he's trying to do a jump hook, that shot's more easily contested, and those are the ones that he's having trouble making. So I want to see a more decisive Tyler Wall starting with tonight, because it did do him well in the first half. So Stephen Crowell gets that dunk. Kamari McGee hits his first three-pointer, and it's a 5-0 run for the Badgers. Connor Esigian had a great pass to Stephen Crowell for the layup. I don't generally like seeing post entries from the top, but it did work for Connor Esigian to Stephen Crowell. It was a nice pass after the pick and roll. I will say, when Rutgers was in a zone, the Badgers did a very good job of working the baseline. When we were in high school and teams played zone against us, we literally had one guy whose job it was to run from baseline to baseline. Yep. That was literally his job. You get to the corners or you get to the short corner, and that was basically one player's job, was just to continue running baseline to baseline wherever the ball went. And the Badgers were doing that, and it was serving them well. They were hitting threes. They were getting to the paint. Mm-hmm. So the Badgers, that's something that Greg Gard's not going to get credit for, because it's going to be something, that's what they should do. Like, that's still good coaching, even if it's something you should do.
Yeah.
So I'll say that. You mentioned Max Klesmit right before half to cut the lead to 2. Steven Crowell, great start to the second half. He gets a stop, he gets a contest, the Badgers get a miss, and then he comes down and hits a 3. If we can get that clutch Steven Crowell that can hit like 1-3 a game, that's just had like a pivotal moment, like that could be something that swings games for the Badgers. How many 5-point games have they lost now? 5 or less. Games decided by 5 or less. I think 6. I want to say they're 10-6.
Yeah.
Games decided by 5 or less. I mean, if you can just hit some of those pivotal shots, like you said, it's just coming down to making shots.
It is.
I mean, you look at a 5-point game, that's a 3 and a 2. And you're talking about some of these games going into overtime, which obviously is, it's a different thing. But, I mean, you're talking, if you hit 2 more 3s or 2 2s and a 3, and you're talking about wins, not narrow losses. So, and like you said, to your point, it's not like they're losing every game by 20. It's not like they're Minnesota, who's, 1-11 in conference play now?
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I mean, Wisconsin, I think, is, 7-9, 7-10 in conference play. So it's obviously not ideal, but they played 4 of those games without Tyler Wall.
And if you really look at the Big Ten rankings, there's a bunch of teams at 9-7, and there's a few teams at 7-9. So it's not like they're in a group of teams that are just really just beating the crap out of each other.
Essentially, if they win 3 games in a row, they could go from the bottom half to the top half of the Big Ten.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now,
finish
right now they're pretty much in the area that people were expecting them to be in anyways.
Yeah.
So, and it's the recency bias of it where it's like hot start and now it's gone down. But, when they're picked to finish here, but then they go up here and then they go down to where they were expected. And I wish I would have hammered this even harder in the beginning of the season when I predicted this to happen. Because, I'm not doing this to be like, oh, I was so right. Like I said, the Badgers were going to get off to a hot start, get ranked, and then have tough couple months. That has happened, and I wish I would have hammered on it more to not freak out when they come back to earth a little bit because their schedule is a little bit softer starting out.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I did predict that, but I wish I would have hammered harder to not freak out when they come back to earth. And it is what it is. We're here now. It was interesting seeing Chucky Hepburn and Kamari McGee on the floor together for a little bit. A little bit of 2-point guard action there. Tyler Wall was coming alive. He was passing and scoring. It's good to see that. The Badgers, like you mentioned, they were 1 of 12 on field goals at one point. And then they hit 3 consecutive 3-pointers. Kamari McGee, Max Klesmit, and Jordan Davis, 3 consecutive 3s. And we're 1 Connor Essegian make at any point in this game from this being a Badgers win.
Yep.
And I saw people complaining because Kamari McGee and Jordan Davis were shooting well and Greg Gard didn't have them on the floor at the end of the game. And bottom line, I'm not going to get mad at a coach for putting his best players on the floor even when they're not shooting well.
Essegian's probably been our best player this entire season.
And I don't think I would disagree with you. Because even though he wasn't shooting well, he was still defending. I'm not saying he's a great one-on-one defender, but when Rutgers was trying to do a lot of post entries to their big man, it happened at least twice that Connor Essegian went and stole the ball as the ball was being entered.
Yeah.
It happened at least twice.
Yeah.
And he was getting a lot of rebounds. So that was good to see from Connor Essegian. And he had a good look at the runner that he took. So I don't have a problem with the play design on the last play of the game either. You get Connor Essegian going towards the basket. You get your best shooter going towards the basket, whose percentages go up every time you get a step closer. Like, I don't understand why people are mad at it strictly because he didn't make it.
And, like we've said before, we both said this just in different ways. Connor is just getting a heaping giant pile of, here, learn this, learn it on the fly, figure this out, this different look. We're going to run this play for you. Next year when he comes in, he's going to put the work in. He's going to remember all this stuff that happened. He's just going to be a freaking killer next year.
I wish I remember who said it. It was on one of the radio shows. But they said it like the fact that he's a freshman and that he's getting this much attention, from within the program, from the coaching staff and stuff like that he's getting this much like usage should excite people.
Yeah.
Imagine 2 years from now what junior Connor Essegian is going to look like.
It's going to be a bad boy.
And then we're talking about next year, talking about Gus Yeldon and Noah Winter coming in, and Tyler Wall could exercise his COVID year and come back and be a super senior and play till he's 35 like Brad Davison did.
And we'll still have Crowell. Hopefully he puts on a little bit more muscle.
Yeah, Crowell's only a sophomore, bro.
Yeah, and we'll have Chucky. And, I mean –
Chucky will be a junior next year. Like, you're talking basically about your two best players being a sophomore and a freshman, and your most experienced player having missed 4 games in the middle of the season.
And then we're bringing in a lot of versatile scorers next year. So it's like we're not trying to like write this season off because that's not what we do.
Exactly,
right?
And
we've had a lot of discussions about people doing that before, and we're not doing that. But we're saying that there's just reason for optimism with this season,
right?
And there's still reason to hold out hope. You know, it's like you said before. It starts tonight, right?
Yep.
And we're gonna go against the Iowa team that is 3-6 on the road. Badgers are 8-5 at home. And it's a whiteout, just like it is outside. So should match Mother Nature inside the Kohl Center.
So you're not going to be able to see anybody walking into the arena.
No, we're not. Especially since it's been winter for so long. We're all pasty white.
True.
So you add that on top of the white T-shirt, you're going to see a bunch of floating red W's.
You're just going to see jeans.
Yeah, basically. But you know, it starts tonight, and against the Iowa team that plays, you know, not super well on the road. Who knows what could happen? They could go on a run. We don't know if they're going to win this game. You know, they play Purdue coming up here. They play Minnesota as well. I forgot. I'm missing one game. Oh, Michigan. So they play Iowa, Michigan, Purdue, and Minnesota to wrap the season up.
Yeah. So
I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to remain positive. I can tell you that.
Right. And to your point, like you said, like the way that we are, like we're not writing off the season. And it's for people that want to complain, like you'll have the entire off season to complain if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. So
what could it possibly hurt you to support the team for the next couple weeks over their last, they got 5 games left?
4
games. So what could it possibly hurt you to just cheer them on for the last 4 games? And if they lose all 4, like you think they're going to anyways, you can still spend the entire offseason bitching and complaining. If that's what you really want to do.
I'm going to tell you right now, if they win the next 4 games, including number 5 Purdue team, which a lot of analysts from all networks have said is the best team in the country with the best, most dominant player in the country. If they win those 4 games and beat Purdue, they're getting in the goddamn tournament, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not.
Wow.
And I saw a guy comment on our page, actually, and he said, oh, they have 9 losses. You think they're getting in the tournament? The best they could do is the NIT. Dude, if they win all 4 games and beat Purdue, they're getting in the goddamn big dance.
If they win 3 out of 4 and lose to Purdue and win 1 or 2 Big Ten tournament games, they're probably still in.
I would agree with that. They're definitely in the first 4 out, first 4 in kind of range.
Right. They're on the bubble. They're on the bubble for sure, and they need to win, I'd say, at least 3 out of 4.
They beat Iowa, a Michigan, who has been disappointing as well. Iowa's been all right. They've been up and down. They beat an Iowa team, a Michigan team, and obviously a bad Minnesota team. And like you said, they'll play 2 games and say they win 2 games in the Big Ten. They're definitely getting in. They're going to be like an 11 or 12 seed, but I don't give a shit. Just give me a chance and get in the tournament.
Exactly. That's what I said to when Mike was on last week. That's what I said. I'm like, I could see the Badgers ending up in that 11 seed play-in game.
Oh, I could see that. That'd be fun.
It would be fun. We get an extra game. Like, I'm totally down for that.
Oh,
we get that Tuesday, Wednesday gap, like after Selection Sunday, and everybody's filling out their brackets. Like, we get a Badger game that day. Like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, sign me up. Like, I'll watch another Badger game.
All right. I'm definitely picking them to win that play-in game, though.
Right. So, last couple things on the Rutgers thing here. Badgers shot 36 3-pointers. Like you said, like we said, Rutgers are a good paint defense team, and the Badgers took what they were given. And I don't have a problem with any of the guys that were shooting threes. Jordan Davis Max Klesmik, Chucky Hepburn, Connor Essegian, Kamari McGee. I don't have a problem with any of those guys shooting threes. Stephen Crowell, shoot 2 or 3 a game. Like, no more than that, but like Stephen Crowell, shoot a few a game. Like, I don't have a problem with any of these guys shooting threes, especially when the Rutgers is like, here, we'll leave you open. Like, shoot them. They took 36 threes. That's their most since November of 2016.
That's a good stat. That was a good stat. I am pleasantly surprised. That was a good one.
That's what I'm here for, man. So, and I posted this on our page. It's a thing where it's unfortunate the Badgers lost. They lost by 1 point. Yeah. But we do need to recognize Jordan Davis and Kamari McGee. They combined for 23 points. Combined, they were 6 of 12 on three-pointers.
That's pretty good.
That's 23 bench points. How many times had the Badgers lost games for want of bench points?
Yeah, lack thereof. I will say that McGee has been pretty damn good for the last few games.
That's why we got the Big Three McGee graphic going on. That's who's starting off our quest for madness is Big Three McGee.
I think he's found his role. I think he's feeling a lot more comfortable. I think he's up to game speed, and he's also using his speed to his advantage. So I love that.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I like that. All right. So next for the Badgers, we've kind of mentioned it. Quest for Madness starts tonight. They play Iowa. Start at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Game.
Well, we're not going to have to go to work tomorrow anyway. So what does it matter?
I know. I've been kind of planning on not having to, but we'll see. If it keeps snowing for like 24 hours straight, like I'm not fucking going anywhere tomorrow. But then they play Sunday at Michigan. I'd love to beat Hunter Dickinson in Michigan and Juwan Howard twice in the same season. Already got him once. You know, Hunter Dickinson's trying to rile up the Wisconsin crowd just to score 3 points in the second half.
I think the basketball gods have us, dude. I think they have us. I really do.
I think I agree with you because like the whole scumbag comment thing, like that's so unnecessary.
Like way out of left field too. Like
right?
How are we the scumbags? You hit us.
Right. Like and like the thing of it is like sure, like you can, you know, call it rivalry or whatever. But just to throw out a word like scumbags, like okay, like we were rivals. Now you're just a dick.
Yeah, now you look like an idiot. If he goes 0-2 against us, and after calling us scumbags, dude, I'm telling you, that's a bad look. That's a bad look.
That's arguably worse than John Morant saying, I'm fine in the West, and then losing 8 of your next 9 games in the Western Conference.
And you know, I don't want to hit too hard on the Grizzlies, but now that they talk so much trash and they call themselves a dynasty and Ja's out here talking out of pocket, everybody's kind of going for him, man. People kind of don't like him already. Like, bro, you got to earn that status, man. You got to earn that type of respect. Like the
Warriors, you don't get to self-declare it.
The Warriors earned that over a long period of time since 2014, 2015, you know, and 13, 14 when they were building up to that moment. And then they won a couple championships. Like, they built up to that dynasty name. They just started saying that last year. And for the Grizzlies to be like, oh, we're a dynasty, I'm just kind of like, pause,
it's
man.
Weird.
Yeah, chill out, dude. You just got in the damn league. How the hell are you in a dynasty already?
Right. So, I mean, when it comes to the Badgers, like you said, let's just calm down, support them for a couple weeks. Whatever happens, happens. It's not going to hurt us to support them for a couple more weeks and start the quest for madness.
I agree.
And if you want to complain, you'll have the whole offseason to do so.
Agreed.
Anything else you want to say about the Badgers?
Beat Iowa. I just kind of hate Iowa for no random reason, but just hate Iowa.
I don't know. Curtis moved there because, I don't know, for some reason.
He's going to be moving away from there pretty soon.
Is he?
Yeah, he might be going to Florida. Breaking news.
Oh.
Might be getting a job there, so.
God, he looks like a guy that would live in Florida, too.
Dude, does he not? Does he not, dude?
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I'm not trying to roast my brother because I love him. I love you,
brother. Do it.
I don't know if it's the tattoo of the last name across the shoulders or if it's just the way that he, like, looks in jorts or if it's, like, the reason, like, he always wears button-ups with, like – does he not? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Bro, he's going to have a pair of pink shorts within the first 3 days that he lives there.
But dude, he already owns them. I don't even know what he owns, but he already owns them, and he already has a shirt that matches. I promise you. Curtis has always been in tune with fashion.
Oh my God.
I'm just like, give me a gray hoodie, give me a black hoodie. I'm gonna throw some goddamn slacks on and some shoes. They probably don't match the slacks. I don't care, but it's happening.
Curtis needs to copy Brett, and he needs to get the established 1993 tattoo as well.
Oh no. Those two are they can be away from each other for 10 years and they'll just find each other somehow and they'll still be best friends. Their souls are best friends. That's all I know about that.
Oh man. Yeah, don't mind us taking 60 seconds in the middle of the show to roast the shit out of two of our friends.
Still love you guys, but they could go in on us. Now, I do not want Brett to roast me because he's actually really good at that. So that's why I'm not going in on Brett. I'm going to leave him alone.
I'll get him back for you.
You get him.
All right, so let's switch to the Bucks. Bucks and Bulls. Giannis Antetokounmpo did leave this game with a wrist injury. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we talk about what's next for the Bucks. But he was in the game long enough to become number one in franchise history in assists. Giannis passed Paul Pressey. He is now officially number one in points, assists, and blocks in Milwaukee Bucks history. So in my mind, he already was, but Giannis is the best Buck of all time. I think we're past that being the discussion point. But what stood out to you in this game between the Bucks and the Bulls?
Well, just want to point out they scored 112 for win number 12 in a row. I thought that was kind of weird, but I like it.
Interesting.
Brook Lopez was freaking dominating. And, you know, we pointed it out a few weeks ago on the show, but it's getting ridiculous that this man is going into his bag and just dribbling, taking people off the dribble, man. I'm just like, Brook, you got to chill, dog. Like, you hella underrated now. He is really, really underrated now.
I saw somebody
drop 30 and block 4 shots in the same game.
Bro, like, that's what I was saying. I said this to somebody on Twitter. I'm like, Brook Lopez is literally 7 feet tall, 282 pounds.
Yep.
Have you seen the contested shot numbers lately?
No, I have not.
All right, so he's played 57 games, right?
Yes.
Ivica Zubac has played 59 games.
Oh, no.
Brook Lopez has contested 292 more shots than Ivica Zubac.
That is nuts.
Brook Lopez has contested almost 1,000 shots in 57 games.
Holy shit.
He has almost a 300 contested shot lead on second place, Ivica Zubac.
And, you know, they were talking during the All-Star game about Jaren Jackson Jr., and I think it was Reggie Miller, and that guy hates the Bucks for some reason. At least it feels that way.
Because he played in the Central Division his whole career.
Yeah, I get it, but he was talking about Jaren Jackson Jr., and they were talking about him being up for Defensive Player of the Year, and he's like, oh, I think he's going to win it. I'm thinking, like, bro, did you not see the reports that the Grizzlies, like, statistician at home is, like, freaking upping his numbers?
I saw somebody debunk that, but even still, like Jaren Jackson Jr. missed a bunch of time. Brook Lopez has missed one game for the entire season.
Yep, he's missed one game. He's been rock solid.
That contested shot thing is a big deal for me.
That is nuts. And he's still, what is he, still second or is he third now?
He's either second or third in blocks per game.
Yeah. So you add that in.
Not by a lot either.
Like I said, he's a guy that can drop 30. He's in his 30s, and his game is still growing, which is crazy. He used to be just a back-to-the-basket guy, and they talk about this all the time. So I'm not going to, get redundant on you. But then he stretched his game out to the three-point line, and now he's going from back to the basket to the three-point line from the three-point line to the basket. Like, he's literally evolving.
Vucevic had no answer for him. Like, Vucevic was going early. Like, I think he started the game, 5-0. And then Brook just was like, nah.
Dude, Brook was talking shit, too. He was talking shit, and I was laughing my ass off. And I'm going to bring it to my favorite part of the game. First of all, Javon Carter. Holy shit, man. When this guy gets hot, this guy gets hot. 22, 6, and 6 from your backup point guard, right? And
in a game that Drew played.
in a game that Drew played. Very good point. And I love that he had a couple crazy fadeaway jumpers late in the fourth or in the third and the fourth quarter, and they had to waste a timeout to cool off our backup point guard, dude. I was like, there's no goddamn way they called a timeout to cool off our backup point guard. Like, we are just shitting on them straight up. He was 9 of 13, 4 of 5 from deep. Brook Lopez, 13 of 18, 3 of 6 from deep. He had plus 28, Brook Lopez, plus 23 for Javon Carter.
Damn.
And the last thing I'm going to talk about real quick, AJ Green. So with a shooter, they say you got the green light, right?
Yep.
And when you play 2K and you get a green, they say triple green bean. He is both of those things in a real human being.
You know what he's got?
What's that?
The Bucks, in my opinion, haven't had a guy since probably Kyle Korver that has the ultra green light.
Oh, 100%.
Like, basically anytime you touch the ball, like, shoot it.
Yeah, you can shoot it.
Yeah.
So over the last couple of years, we've drafted Mamu, and obviously this year we drafted AJ Green and we drafted MarJon, right?
Yep.
I think those are building blocks, in my opinion. MarJon, his potential, he could turn into a really, really special player.
I like MarJon a lot.
AJ Green is a great shooter, but the thing that people don't give him credit for is he's not afraid to mix it up down low, and he's not a small guy either. He can go down there and get some goddamn rebounds.
I got it in my notes.
He was holding his own down there, boxing people out, pushing people around. I was like on top of him going 5 for 7 from deep, which was awesome. He was down there pushing around guys, and I was like,
he got back-to-back stops. The first one was on Zach LaVine.
Think about
it. He forced Zach LaVine into a fadeaway jump shot that he hit off the back of the rim. The second stop was on Patrick Williams. Bro's a power forward.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He's not afraid to throw it around. If Mamu develops even a little bit of dog in him on defense, those three could turn into like real life, like rotation.
The next
players.
Generation.
Yeah, next generation rotation and starters, like high level starters for this Milwaukee Bucks team.
Yeah.
People need to give credit to the Bucks staff.
John Horst. Yeah.
For finding those people. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I agree with you a lot. And the Bucks have 2 open roster spots, I believe. And, you know, Will Barton is a free agent. He's basically the one guy that I've been keeping an eye on for buyouts. But if the Bucks don't sign anybody from buyouts, which I don't think they necessarily need to, I could easily see AJ Green and Sandro Mamukelashvili having their contracts upgraded from 2-way to full NBA guaranteed contracts.
I agree. I hope it happens, honestly. Mamu, the lights might be a little bit too bright yet. He's getting there. Shout out to him. He played in the G League All-Star game this weekend. But AJ Green, he comes in, man, and it really doesn't look like the lights are too bright for him. He literally just comes in, he balls, he shoots some threes, he grabs some rebounds, and he's just like, all right, I guess I'll go sit on the bench again. Like, he's cool, Mo.
He looks ready.
I'm ready for him, and if he keeps hitting threes, I might have to get a green jersey because that's just perfect.
Ooh. I'm excited because I got to see him at a Herd game a few weeks ago, so that was sweet.
Yeah, did you post that on the page?
I don't think I posted it on the page. I posted it on Twitter, I think, on my Twitter.
You should post it on the page so that people can see. They don't believe how tall we are, man.
I know, right? To see that I'm an inch taller than AJ Green and you're the same height as him.
Right? They don't
imagine if you could shoot like AJ Green at your height.
Well, I'd be rich for one.
You'd be tearing up the YMCA, that's for sure.
Hell yeah, it would.
You'd be Kurt Thomas with a 3-pointer.
I got to get those shorts back, man.
All right, so for me, we kind of mentioned the start with Brook Lopez. We didn't mention that Pat Connaughton and Chris Middleton didn't play. I did mention that Giannis left early. You mentioned Javon Carter shooting well. He started the game 2 for 2 behind the 3-point line. MarJon Beauchamp, with the guys injured, got some early playing time. He made, and I want to give MarJon credit for this because this is part of what cost him some playing time when Chris Middleton got healthy, was needing to improve at his defensive positioning. And in this game, he made a perfect rotation where there was a rotation out to the 3-point line. MarJon was the next guy to fill in the restricted circle, and he caught up and he stood tall in front of Nikola Vucevic and forced a kick out for a 3. I don't remember who it was that made the three, but the three went in. But MarJon didn't get credit for getting that defensive positioning to force Nikola Vucevic out of a wide open jump hook right outside the restricted circle to force him to kick the ball out for a three-pointer.
Yep.
That's the stuff that's going to earn MarJon Beauchamp more playing time. That's the kind of thing that could say, hey, Wesley Matthews, we really appreciate everything you've done for this team and helping us win a second championship in 3 years. But we're ready to move on to MarJon being one of our defensive specialists.
I'm with that. And he can run the fucking floor, dude, and finish.
Yes.
So I like that ability as well.
And there was a possession, too, where MarJon Beauchamp got an offensive rebound and the play ended in a Javon Carter three-pointer. So he's helping getting some second chance points, too. So he only scored 2 points in this game, but he did also have 4 rebounds. He had an assist. He had a steal. He had a block. And those improvements on the defensive rotations really stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to give him credit for that.
I agree.
You mentioned this. We were talking about it, that Mamu is improving on his rebounding positioning.
Yes.
And it's helping him on the offensive end. And it was cool because Mamu got an offensive rebound and the play ended in an AJ Green three-pointer. So we got a little two-way player action there between an offensive rebound and a kick out for a three. So that was cool. Brook Lopez, first quarter, 15 points and 2 blocks.
Jesus Christ.
Javon Carter had 11 in the first quarter.
Yeah, he did.
So, Chicago had no answer for those two.
Yeah, Javon had 11 in the first and 11 in the fourth.
Yeah. Second half, we got a little bit of Brook Lopez and Mamu on the floor at the same time.
Yep.
That to me was interesting. They're looking to maybe work Mamu in at power forward a little bit is something interesting too. Could you imagine a lineup of, say, Drew, Chris, Giannis, Mamu, and Brook Lopez? It's essentially the same thing, but swapping in Mamu for Bobby Portis. He's about an inch.
If Mamu was a little bit more consistent with his three-point shot, that could be dangerous.
Just something to think about for the future.
Yes, sir.
I mentioned the 2 plays that AJ Green got the stops on. Javon Carter, he wasn't scoring in the third quarter, like you said, but he was distributing really well in the third quarter. The Bucks really got something from everybody that checked into the game. And, the Bucks opened the game up in the fourth quarter. They went on a 12-0 run in the fourth quarter. 7 of them were scored by Javon Carter. Actually, the run grew to 14-0. The 112-100 final was a little bit closer than the game actually indicated. Like, it wasn't really that close.
It didn't.
The last 3 minutes of the game, I think the Bucks were up like 22 at one point. Like, the game just got closer at the end because the Bucks pretty much just like
mailed it in.
Yeah. Let the Bulls wave the white flag. So here's the point that I wanted to make about Bucks getting something from everybody that checked into the game. So Brook Lopez, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 4 blocks. Javon Carter, the 22, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. And like I said, Drew Holiday played this game. So it's not like Javon Carter started this game at point guard and then dropped 22, 6, and 6. He dropped 22, 6, and 6 in a game that Drew Holiday was playing in.
Right.
Drew Holiday himself, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. Grayson Allen had 10 points. AJ Green had 15 points. He was 5 of 7 on threes. Wesley Matthews had 5 points and 3 rebounds. Joe Ingles had 5 points and 7 rebounds. Mamu had 2 points, 5 rebounds, a steal, and 2 blocks. And MarJon Beauchamp had 2 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. Everybody that played in this game gave something.
Yeah. I miss watching the Bucks, dude. It's been so long.
I know. We still got to wait 2 more days.
I know. I can't wait.
So, looking ahead, the Bucks have Friday against Miami, Sunday against Phoenix, which I will be there. Lily gets to do the starting lineup, so she's excited for that because we get to go ahead of time and watch warm-ups and stuff. So, definitely going to be posting some pictures while I'm at that.
Very nice.
And then Tuesday they play at Brooklyn. I'm curious to know your record prediction here. I have a thought on it because the long-term prognosis on Giannis is positive. He's not going to miss extended time. He's basically got like a grade. What did they say? Grade 2 wrist sprain or something like that is what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
So he might miss a couple games, but he's not going to miss weeks of time. We probably won't know until tomorrow at the very earliest, probably Friday, on Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder, if any of those guys are going to play on Friday. So for me, I'm going to say a 2-1 week. I'm going to say they lose on Friday to Miami. They might be a little bit rusty and potentially missing some guys. So I'm going to say 2-1. They lose to Miami, and then they beat Phoenix and Brooklyn.
I'm going to say it. Oh, this hurts. I almost want to say 1-2. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm gonna say 2-1. I could see them beating Phoenix. Phoenix has like literally zero depth. They gave all their depth into the Kevin Durant pop.
Right, and he's not even guaranteed to be playing on Sunday.
Right. I could see us beating Phoenix, and I could see us beating Brooklyn. So I'll say 2-1. I think they probably lose to Miami as well, unless Javon Carter and Brook Lopez just stay hot and we're hitting a bunch of three-pointers, hit like 22 or 23 three-pointers or something like that, and shoot an efficient percent and rebound the ball well. There's ways they can win all three, but I'll say 2-1.
Right, and I agree with that too. And like I said, we're going to be waiting until probably Friday before we get news on who's healthy, who's going to play, who's not, whether or not Jay Crowder is going to be up to speed. So we'll probably have to wait until tomorrow to get that information.
You know, Jay wants to play against the Suns. You know that.
Oh yeah.
He wants to go in there in Milwaukee, and he wants to shut down Devin Booker and shut down that whole coaching staff and be like, "This is why y'all should have paid me." You know, he should.
I mean, the starter.
Yeah, he's gonna want to play. So I could see him playing that game. I could see Middleton playing in that game as well. Pat Connaughton. Bobby is the one that I was just talking to Isaac about this in the group chat. I was like, I miss watching Bobby, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just feel his energy through the TV screen, man.
I miss seeing Bobby go up and collect the rebound, and then I miss seeing him get the ball in the high post and do his face up, and then you get the Bobby jump shot.
Right, bro? And then he's talking shit the whole way down. Like, that's the best. So let me ask you something real quick. Can I bring up what I wanted to talk about with the NBA?
Yeah.
What up, Simon? What up, Tim? So I wanted to bring this up because I saw a quote from DeMar DeRozan today talking about MVP. Mm-hmm. And he talked about a reporter asked him, he said, how many games should you play to win MVP? He said 82. He said minimum of 78. First of all, I'm not going to tear this whole thing apart because I agree that players should be playing more and the rest thing should kind of go away. And the player that really, really killed this, and nobody's going to mention it because nobody ever talks about this guy for some reason, is Kawhi Leonard.
It's Kawhi Leonard. Yep.
The guy literally is sitting 30, 35, 36 games. And then people are like, yeah, he's still top 5. I'm thinking in what fucking world, dude? He doesn't play. Yeah. And then people are calling me crazy. I'm like, yeah, when he plays, when the best ability is availability, right? So you can't control injuries, right? So Giannis, he's going for a block. It's just an effort play. He ends up holding himself up, and say he misses 5 games from that. Now he's guaranteed not to play 78 games. Mathematically, he's guaranteed not to play 78 games. You're saying that he shouldn't win MVP because of that?
So your question, I'm guessing, is going to be how many games?
No, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about load management. And my stance on it is a little bit weird because in some points I can understand it. And some points I get frustrated by it because I agree with what Anthony Edwards said a little bit. Kobe said it too. Talked about, and I'm one of those people. I work really, really fucking hard. I pay my bills. I take care of my kids, and I try to save up enough money for us to go to a couple Brewers games, maybe a Bucks game, maybe a Packer game. It's hard for me to save up for that stuff with everything.
You're basically doing one of each a year.
Yeah, because I have a son and he likes sports, so I want to experience that stuff with him as well. Yep. So if I go to one Bucks game and Giannis isn't playing, I'm gonna be let down. But also I'm gonna look at the situation that we're in, right?
Right.
And I'm gonna say this. When people started romanticizing about Jordan 6-0 in the finals, And that's all people grow up knowing is it doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. You can win 12 MVPs. You can win 4 Defensive Player of the Years. If you don't go to the goddamn finals and win the whole freaking thing, it doesn't matter what you did.
Yep.
So when people started romanticizing about the championship, that ruined sports.
Nick Wright went on a rant pretty similar to the one that you just gave. And it was because like we as fans and as, you know, sports enjoyers decided that championships were the only thing that mattered in basketball.
It's just and people do it with the Packers too. They do it with Rodgers. Like, oh, right. Brady has 7 rings. It's like, dude, I'm enjoying watching him throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Bears. That's fucking awesome to me. I had a great Sunday that Sunday, you know?
Well, and that's the thing is like Brady is quite the exception when it comes to players.
Right.
Like, what is it? Joe Montana has 4. Yep. So like, you know, that's I'll hear an argument for Joe Montana over Aaron Rodgers all the time. But like, for people to say that Rodgers isn't top 5 because he has 1 ring, or for people to say, I'm trying to think of a basketball player example, but you know, most of the guys in the top 10 have multiple rings, if not all of them have multiple rings.
Right.
And that's the situation that we're in, where it's going to take, you know, everybody's saying for guys to pass other guys up is that he needs to win 2 more MVPs and 3 more rings to pass this guy. Because it's going to happen with Giannis and Tim Duncan. Inevitably, like Giannis is going to do enough where you look at his career next to Tim Duncan's and people are going to say Tim Duncan's still better, even though Giannis won way more MVPs, way more Defensive Player of the Years, but Duncan has 5 rings and Giannis only has 3. That's going to be the discussion.
And I just want all sports. Like, you can enjoy sports without winning the championship. And we've had this discussion before, and I wanted to kind of revisit it a little bit. But it's like, that is ridiculous. So you're telling me I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch 82 Milwaukee Bucks regular season games. I'm going to see all the step-back jumpers from Jrue Holiday. I'm going to see all the blocks from Brook Lopez. I'm going to see all the crossovers, zero-step dunks from Giannis. And if we don't go win the damn title, I'm not allowed to enjoy that? Come on, man. That's just stupid. That's plain out stupid. Like, I'm not going to say anything nice. That's stupid.
And it sounds cheesy to say it, but like we emphasize this during the Packers season. Me, you, Simon, and Bryant, of enjoying the journey. That was one of my positive takeaways when the Packers season was over. Was like, hey, do you remember how excited we all were on Christmas Day when the Packers beat the Dolphins after being down 20-10?
Dude, that was a fantastic Christmas morning. Fantastic.
The fact that the Packers didn't make the playoffs cannot take away the fun that we had that day.
You bastard.
Cheesy Packers. I didn't even, yep. Well played, Simon. You're not a dad yet, but we'll make you one. Honorary dad joke from Simon. That was
either that or the 2 hours of sunlight you're about to get in Alaska will do it for you.
Yeah. There's nothing else to do. Simon came back with 6 kids.
Oh God.
So yeah, and like you said, there's no point in not enjoying the journey just because the season doesn't end in a championship. And I know I've framed it this way, that every season 29 NBA teams don't win championships. 29 Major League Baseball teams don't win championships. 31 NFL teams don't win championships. You can't tell me that we're not all going to be counting down when spring training starts for baseball season to get here, and football season to get here, and basketball season to get here, because we enjoy it. So you can't tell me that you're not excited for the season to start and that you're only going to turn in for the playoffs.
So part of the reason that I wanted to say this, I saw a Bears fan. Yeah, that you already know, low IQ. So he was talking about the Packers. He was like, "Oh, the Packers suck," blah, blah, blah. And somebody was like, "Well, we beat you twice, so you can't really say we suck." And then he was like, "Well, you didn't make the playoffs." And then I was just like, hold on, pause real quick. You gave us shit for making the playoffs and not winning the title. Now you're giving us shit for not making the playoffs. It's like, what argument are you going to choose? So I commented on there and I said, well, we got just as many rings as the Eagles this year, and they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. So if your argument is success in winning rings, well, guess what? We were just as successful as the goddamn Philadelphia Eagles. So take that and shove it up your stupid ass argument.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't always have to be, like, we enjoy giving Bears fans shit because it's the rivalry. But at the end of the day, it's not even that we want to say like Bears fans shouldn't enjoy football because their team always sucks. But what I would suggest is like asking a Bears fan, did you have any fun during this NFL season? I bet you did.
Wow.
Just because you didn't win a championship doesn't mean you can't have fun watching sports.
Since 90% of their time was devoted to defending Justin Fields and his inability to read a defense or throw a football properly. And it's so funny to me. They find like the 3 throws that he made. And like he made some throws, right? They find like the 3 throws he made in that game. And I'm like, dude, he literally threw the ball like 32 times. And you're showing me 3 fucking attempts. Are you serious right now? Dude, just stop, dude.
Yeah. We gotta, I guess what it boils down to is normalize having fun during the regular season.
Yeah, we're getting off track here because the Bears suck. But yeah, anyways, the Bears suck. And we're going to talk about the Brewers. And the Brewers are good. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So last thing on the Bucks real quick is they did sign Myers Leonard to a 10-day contract. Oh, yes. So a lot of people freaking out because the only thing they remember is the bad thing that he said and basically didn't catch up on anything that he's done in the last 2 years.
Shocker.
Yeah, which like you can go to his Twitter account and he's basically become an ally of the people that he slurred against. So it's
I always want people, this is the point where I want to make the correlation between, us, the working folk, and the superstars that we watch on television. Yeah. When you make a mistake, you have to learn from it, right? And the consequences that you deal with are not as harsh as an NBA player, NFL, whatever. Right. So if you're allowed to make a mistake, they're human. We're all humans. Right. This guy just grew to be 7 feet tall and be able to dunk a basketball and dribble and all that other shit, right? So if you can make a mistake, they can make mistakes. People deserve a second chance. That's honestly how I feel about it. I give everybody a second chance. I've been done dirty plenty of times in my life, but let's just give him a second chance, see if he fits in. The Milwaukee Bucks have a great culture, so he might just come right in, fit right in, grab a lot of rebounds, be dancing on the sidelines, and we'll be good to go.
And if it doesn't work out, 10 days, he's gone. And he signs with the Lakers or Isaac's other favorite team, the Clippers.
Dude, everybody's giving shit for that now.
And I saw one person say it on our page, and I agree with it, that we forgave Josh Hader for doing something similar. Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, it's really like the work that he's done is out there. So you can go and find that Myers Leonard has gone and worked in Jewish communities and things and done programs with Jewish people and has become an ally of their people. So I'm really not going to hold any ill will towards Myers Leonard or for John Horst for signing him.
Right. I agree.
Okay. All right.
Hi, Bill.
What's up, Bill? Bill caught on. So we got Bill and Tim said the Bears say their enjoyment to seeing the Packers struggle. That is true. And that's, to me, that's something that they've learned from Vikings fans. And it's Vikings fans that have instilled that, okay, now you made the playoffs and we didn't, so we're going to cheer for you to lose in the playoffs. Like, that's, to me, that's Viking behavior.
I agree. So you ready to switch gears here?
I was just going to ask, are you ready to talk baseball?
I'm ready, man. So welcome to the Milwaukee Brewers 2023 season primer. I have to say, I said this to Tyler earlier, there is nothing more Wisconsin than talking about Brewers baseball in warmer weather on a day that we have a freaking like blizzard-like symptoms, like weather outside. It's like, what are we doing right now? What we're doing is we're cheering for that sunshine because we're projected to get, I think it's like what, 9 to 11 or 9 to 12 or something like that, about 10 inches of snow. So
too much.
Yeah, a lot of snow, a nauseating amount of snow. You honestly have to go outside every like 2 hours and shovel to stay ahead of it.
I've shoveled 4 times today. My back hurts.
Yeah, you're not going to want to shovel, all of that at one time, because that's just stupid. So you got to work smarter, not harder. I don't know if you saw my post on my personal page. You're talking about back pain, so it reminded me of it. It said my seat warmers. I'm at the age now where my seat warmers are to help with my back pain and not to warm my tush. And I 100% stand by that because I'm 30 years old. And my back, I went from 29 to 30, and it's like all of a sudden my body was like, here's knee pain, here's some back pain. You're going to wake up with neck pain because you slept like an idiot last night. And I'm just like, what is going on right now?
You know what's fun is growing up part Great Dane and having all that stuff since I was like 16.
That's fair. I had the knee pain in my left leg because I broke that leg, but I never had the back pain like this. I never woke up with a kink in my neck. I literally woke up like a month ago, and I was just like, what is happening right now? I can't turn my neck. But, snowblowers are cheaper than doctor bills. That's a good point. I don't go to the doctor. I just tough it out like a dumb idiot, and then I probably hurt something else. So with that being said, we have a lot on board for you guys. We're going to talk about departures, additions. Yes. We're going to pick best pitcher. We're going to pick an underrated performer. We're going to pick best position player. We're also going to give you guys a starting lineup and batting order. And we're going to make some bold predictions along with a record prediction. So a lot of stuff happening. Tyler, you have more departures and additions written down. I mean, we talked about this. So
yes.
Why don't you start us with departures? Then we can discuss that.
All right. So key departures. Honestly, the one I think that hurts the most because of how friendly he was to, endearing to the fan base is Brent Suter. Like that might just be Tim said, Bill, they're young and just need to toughen up a little bit. All right. Yeah, that's whatever. Yeah. Just
okay.
Tough love.
Well,
cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck my back, I guess. Key departures. Brent Suter is a tough one to lose just because he's such a fun player to have on the team. But when what it comes down to is can't keep guys just because they're fun to have around.
I agree.
So key departures, Hunter Renfroe, who I said was probably a trade candidate when he was coming in, was that he could very well be traded the next year, and he was. Colton Wong traded. Omar Narvaez was a free agent. Jace Peterson was a free agent. Andrew McCutcheon was a free agent. Trevor Gott was a free agent. Taylor Rogers was a free agent. Brad Boxberger was a free agent. And John Del Gustave was also granted free agency. To me, honestly, it's a little bit of a bummer, but losing Boxberger, I think, was the one that kind of bummed me out the most. Mm-hmm. Isaac said the Angels will enjoy Hunter Renfroe. Yeah, I mean, it's another guy that can give you guys 25 home runs on your way to an 82-82 season and missing the playoffs again and wasting Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani's careers. So you got that going.
Jesus. Isaac, we like you, I promise. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you could have traded us Mike Trout for Hunter Renfroe. That would have been cool.
Would have loved Mike Trout.
Right? Anyways, now that I'm done roasting Isaac and his love of the Angels and Los Angeles Clippers. Brewers won't make it that far. Brewers will win more games than the Angels this year. I would bet money on that.
I think they'll both be similar, but I think the Brewers win a little bit more.
All right. So departures, what stands out to you in the departures?
Well, Omar, I'm okay with. I did become a fan of Jace Peterson. I think he was a really good utility player, kind of played everywhere.
Yeah.
I have good memories of Boxberger, bad memories of Boxberger, but it happens.
He was one of our most reliable pitchers over the last 3 seasons.
He was. And I'll never forget the nuts he had on July 4th against the Cubs, man. Wow. Colton Wong, loved his swag, loved his defense for the most part. His bat was not as consistent as we thought it was going to be. He was all right, but Hunter Renfroe, like straight up, that's the answer for me. I love Brent Suter. Don't get me wrong, Brent Suter.
Yeah.
But I more loved him, like you said, because of his off the field stuff. He was just hilarious, and that stuff does matter. I'm not trying to just overlook that.
Right.
I loved Hunter Renfroe. He became my boy. Like he was mashing. He had the hair flow. Like he looked like a baseball player that belonged in a Brewers uniform.
You're going to be a Joey Weimer fan. I know you are.
I know. You keep telling me, and I'm a big Joey guy now. I'm like, all right.
Baby Renfro. We can call him that if you want. We can call him Baby Renfro if you want.
I'm with that. As long as he has the hair flow and he's mashing homers, like I am 100% on board. But Hunter Renfro is the one that I'm going to miss the most. I do have a little connection with Andrew McCutcheon. Just some memories with my stepson on the video games. Nothing serious, but he was all right, I thought, as well. But didn't have the impact that he was supposed to have on this Brewers team. Kind of like Colton Wong. Just a little bit too uppy, downy, in my opinion. But other than that, I mean, I think they did a good job replacing those guys, though.
I agree. And to me, getting Matt Arnold, people are soured on him a little bit because of the Corbin Burns situation, but they cleared the air on it. They're both focused on the season. Mm-hmm. And Matt Arnold, he flexed some pretty good GM work this offseason. The fact that he turned Esteury Ruiz into William Contreras, Joel Payamps, and another relief pitcher who's going to be probably in Double-A this year. We kept wondering if Jackson Chourio was going to be included in the deal or Sal Frelick was going to be included in the deal. And we find out that the only thing the Brewers were sending out was Esteury Ruiz.
Yeah, that's with already a loaded outfield, that's fine. You can live with that.
So, key additions. What key additions stood out to you? I definitely have a lot written down. Not all of these guys are going to be, impact players, but what stood out to you for key additions?
I mean, I have a couple people written down, but really only two that are really, really going to matter to me personally. And this doesn't mean that they're not going to matter during the season, but just my baseball eyes, I guess. Jesse Winker, I think, is absolutely have a bounce back season. His stats in the NL Central are disgusting. His stats at Miller Park are disgusting, and I know you're going to have them. So,
spoiler alert, Jesse Winker is in my bold predictions.
All right. Spoiler alert, I also talk about Jesse Winker coming up here. I really think he's going to have a really big bounce-back season. And then William Contreras, obviously. Catcher was a position that kind of like first base, where it was we'd have a guy for a year or two. They do really good, have one good year, one down year. Getting a guy that's under club control that's already been an all-star, and he's, 24, right?
Something like that. I think he's 24. 20. I think he's 24. I think you're right.
I think he's still 24, but a guy that can mash, a guy that can catch, just getting that position, just locked down for the next few years is a really, really great feeling. So William Contreras and Jesse Winker are two of the other guys. The other guys I've written down are Jansen Junk. He throws some decent stuff.
Yep. He throws some junk, not in a bad way.
He does. He throws some junk. And then I have Owen Miller written down because I think that he could have a little bit of an impact during the season. But who else do you have, buddy?
I got a whole bunch of people, but before I give all of mine, I have three of these. I have 3 Brewers Heart keychains. So 3 people comment, I Heart Brewers, and I will send you a Milwaukee Brewers heart-shaped keychain. So, Isaac, hop 2. All right. Additions, I also have William Contreras listed on here. Jansen Junk is on here as well. Joel Payamps, Elvis Peguero. These are all guys I think could make appearances out of the bullpen. I don't think they're going to be huge impact players, but their names still bear mentioning. Blake Perkins is another one. He was signed on a 1-year deal basically to add some.
Well, Tyler got kicked. He's going in the middle of his lineup here, unless you're giving away wind in a bottle. No, actually, Isaac, they only do that in Chicago. And me and Tyler, we actually just talked because I have a stat. I'm just going to bring it up right now. The Brewers are 28-26 on opening days in their history, and they open up against the Cubs. So we're looking to add to that against the Wind as well. Tyler got kicked for his rude comments towards me. I would not doubt it. He comes at you pretty hard, man. And last week I was like, Isaac said F you to me. And I'm like, bro, I stuck up for you. I don't know what that's all about, man. But yeah, I'll just keep going on about Jesse Winker here. If you look at his stats, I was actually listening to the radio earlier this week when I was working. Didn't give a shit about it. Hey, buddy, you back?
I don't know what's going on.
It's the weather, dude. The weather's gonna kill us.
That might be the weather. That's totally possible.
I will hold on to my Jesse Winker stuff. I was just gonna go into to get you back into additions so you can get back into that.
So I was on additions. Tim wants keychains, so we got that. Wasn't being rude, Isaac. Nothing I said was rude. Truth. True. Anyways. So, guys that I think could be in the bullpen. You did mention Jesse Winker, who is going to be part of my bold predictions, so stick around for that. Mm-hmm. Abraham Toro, he's a guy who could potentially fill in for the Brewers at second base. He was part of the Colton Wong trade. Wade Miley, who could be making some starts for the Brewers. Alex Claudio, I think, is a really underrated addition. He actually was a Brewers reliever a couple of years ago, and he pitched pretty well for the Brewers. He's a kind of a submarine guy. I think a really underrated move adding Alex Claudio. And the Brewers added just the other day Justin Wilson. He's going to miss the first half of the season while he's recovering from Tommy John. But Matt Arnold did say he expects him to be an impact player in the second half of the season. And then he's got a club option for next year. He is already 35 years old, but he does have a career 3.41 ERA. So pretty solid ERA. And he's a left-handed pitcher, which Jake did say that he was concerned about some of the left-handed pitching depth in the bullpen for the Brewers. So adding a guy like Alex Claudio, a guy like Justin Wilson, could be under-the-radar moves that do actually make impact. You did mention Owen Miller. I think he's going to be one of the primary backups to most of the infield. But he is a Wisconsin native. Owen Miller's from Wisconsin, so he gets to play for the hometown team. Mm-hmm. And then the last one I have is Bryce Wilson. The Brewers acquired him from the Pittsburgh Pirates for cash, and they told him when he came to camp to prepare as if he's going to be a starting pitcher.
Oh, shit.
So they told Bryce Wilson to come in prepared to be a starter. So we are dealing with, unfortunately, Aaron Ashby and Jason Alexander are going to miss parts of the beginning of the season. Jason Alexander was transferred to the 60-day disabled list or injured list, and Aaron Ashby is going to be out likely until mid-May. They're working on Aaron Ashby. So Bryce Wilson could be making starts. Wade Miley could very well be making some starts. Bill said Miley seems to be excited to be back. I mean, he was fun to have when he was here. I would say the same for Gio Gonzalez. Like, I remember them fondly being here. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed having them. I'm excited to have him back to see if he can make an impact. So that, and as far as injuries go, Tyrone Taylor is going to miss 2 weeks, so it's not going to affect the opening day roster or anything like that. So as we get into starting lineups, basically the only ones that are going to be out of starting lineups is Aaron Ashby and Jason Alexander, which we're really predicting like the opening day lineup. We're not predicting as far as like the whole starting rotation, because there's probably 9 guys that are going to make start for the Brewers. Yeah. But let's go to the starting lineup. Let's go position by position. So do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You go first. Go first. I want to see how.
So I'm just gonna go in order of the field. Okay. The rotation, it's obviously gonna start with Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns is gonna be the opening day starter. But then I'm gonna go catcher, first base, second base, all the way around. That's how I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna do DH last. Brewers starting catcher, it's gonna be William Contreras. Not a shock there. Not a shock with Rowdy Tellez at first base. Second base, I'm gonna say Luis Urias starts opening day at second base.
Okay.
Third base, I'm gonna say Brian Anderson starts the season at third base. That's a guy we didn't mention in the additions, but I think he's going to start opening day at third base for the Brewers. He's got more experience than some of the other guys on the roster. I think he's a little bit better of a player than Mike Brasso to be starting him at third base, to be starting your utility man on a opening day. So I'm going to go with Brian Anderson. That was one that I kind of had as a little bit of a out of left field potential starter. Shortstop, Willie Adames. Left field, Christian Yelich. Center field, Garrett Mitchell. Right field, I think it's going to be Tyrone Taylor. I have a bold prediction when it comes to right field later on in the season. The Brewers did also extend minor league deals to Luke Voigt and Tyler Naquin, two potential underrated signings, one first base at Luke Voigt and Tyler Naquin, an outfielder. So some potentially a little more grizzled guys, but guys that have succeeded and hit some long balls in the majors. So some potential depth there. But right field, I think it's going to be Tyrone Taylor to start opening day. And then DH, I'm going to say Jesse Winker is going to be the Brewers opening day DH.
So do you want to do the batting order after I say mine?
After you do your positions, because I want to go 1-1, 2-2, 3-3 through the batting order, because I think that's going to be interesting to see what we got.
Okay. So I'll start. I also have William Contreras as catcher. Not shocking. I also think that Corbin Burns will be the starter. Real quick on your Brian Anderson thing, because we don't have Brian Anderson calling a lot of games for us anymore because he's so busy at TNT now, which is awesome. I love that he's moving up in the world, but he was ours first. So I just want people to know that. If we get a Brian Anderson homer on a Brian Anderson call, that is going to be an amazing call.
It's going to be Brian Anderson Day.
It's going to be Brian Anderson Day.
As long as it doesn't happen on May 22nd, because that's Willie Adames Day.
Very true. So catcher, I have William Contreras. First base, Rowdy. Second base, I have Bryce Turang.
He's going to be a starter, huh? I think it's possible.
I think it's possible. I have Luis Rios over at third base.
Okay.
So he can be next to his best buddy at shortstop, Willie Adames, right? Left field, I have the same outfield as you. I have Christian Yelich in left. I have Garrett Mitchell in center, and then I think that Tyrone Taylor will also start in right field. Although I do feel like Sal Frelick is getting very, very close. I feel like Joey Weimer is not as close, but he's right there as well. But I do like that you brought up the additions because I do think that Voigt is somebody that could definitely mash some baseballs. So if he can get back to where he was, that would be awesome. DH, I have Jesse Winker.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any shock on Jesse Winker being DH. I think
no.
I'm going to save it. I got a bold prediction with Jesse Winker. I'm going to save it.
Okay.
We're going to get there.
Yes, sir.
All right. We have a little bit of knowledge of each other's batting orders, and I know they're going to be different because we know a little bit of each other's top threes here.
I'm writing yours down, so I'm ready.
Number one, leading off, I have Christian Yelich. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Christian Yelich grew to be a very, very, very good leadoff hitter for the Brewers last year. Now, I know you have your reasons for why. Never mind. I'm not going to steal your thunder.
Yep, that's fine.
For me, reasons being Christian Yelich's plate discipline improved, and he started getting on base a shit ton when they moved him into the leadoff position. So like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to leave Christian Yelich as the leadoff hitter.
Okay. Well, I have the kid that got a little bit of experience towards the end of the season, and I love that he was in a lot of high-pressure situations. So him coming into this season will be a little bit more relaxed, which will be good for him. I have Garrett Mitchell as my leadoff.
I like it.
Who do you have in your two-hole, buddy?
Number two, I have Willie Adames. I think that's pretty much his locked and loaded position. Willie Adames, I think, is locked into the number two spot. Bill said he loves Yelly's speed at leadoff. Bill, you've been watching our show super consistently over the last, I'd say probably like damn near 6 months, it feels like. So, Bill, I'm going to send you some Brewers buttons to get you ready for opening day and to thank you for watching our show.
He also said I heart Brewers. So I have him written down as one of the I Heart Brewers as well. So I have Bill and Tim written down. So
Tim's been like our OG follower. He followed us back when we were broadcasting from the site who we do not name.
The old clickbaits. But thank you, Bill. I also have Willie Adames in my two-hole as well. Like you said, it just feels right having Willie bat second.
That seems to be where he thrives.
Yep.
Number three, I have William Contreras.
Oh.
I like him at that 3 spot. You get a couple guys ahead of on base for him. We know he's got the power. So I think William Contreras at 3, with the threat of some of the bigger bats behind him, gives him that Ryan Braun feel at the 3-hole. Just because you don't want to pitch to the guy behind him, so you got to throw this guy some strikes.
Yeah,
so that's why I like William Contreras. I almost said William Adames because I said Willie Adames. So we're gonna have Willie and then William batting back to back. But I have Willie Adames in the 3-hole. Who do you have?
I have Christian Yelich back in the 3-hole.
Okay.
I like that Adames is ahead of him. I like the speed of Mitchell getting on base ahead of him. I like, people are getting on Yelich because of his contract and, his stats have been going down. But if you look at something that's positive, you could positively spin this. His batting average and all his numbers have been going up the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. So, when I get to my 4-hitter, kind of what you just said right there, where you don't want to pitch to this guy, because he's a good contact hitter. He can hit these guys in. I think putting him in between Willie Adames and my next guy, I think that'll be a good thing for him. So I have Christian Yelich in my 3-hole.
Okay. Batting cleanup, I have Jesse Winker. And I'm going to elaborate on him a little bit more in the bold predictions, but I like Jesse Winker's power in the cleanup spot with potentially a bunch of guys on base for him. So I have Jesse Winker at the DH batting cleanup.
So in my 4 spot, I have Yelich in between the 2 Willies, right?
Okay.
I have Willie, I have Yelly, and I have Willie. So I have William Contreras also in my 4 spot. He's a guy that can hit for power, hit for average. So I like that.
All right. Batting number 5, I have Rowdy Tellez. I really like him at that 5 spot. You didn't mention this with Christian Yelich, but I think with Christian Yelich and Rowdy Tellez, these are potentially 2 of the biggest guys, not only on the Brewers, but in all of baseball, that the shift rules are going to affect positively most in the 2023 season is Rowdy Tellez and Christian Yelich. Like I said, not just on the Brewers, but in all of baseball, 2 of the potential biggest beneficiaries of the new shift rule. So I have Rowdy Tellez batting 5th.
And 5th is where I have Jesse Winker. My DH, I put him at 5th. Like I said, I really think he's going to have a bounce-back year. You have your bold prediction, which will fit perfectly into why I have him in the 5-hole. The 4, 5, 6, I think are going to have to be some maulers. So I have Jesse Winker as the 5.
All right. Number 6, I have Brian Anderson. That's where I have him. He's kind of just that bridge guy, a guy who can kind of do everything for you. I think that's kind of the role the Brewers have in mind for Brian Anderson. And he's the guy that can give you, he's not going to give you tons of home runs, but he can. And he can get on base for you a little bit ahead of some of the other guys that I have behind him. So I have Brian Anderson at 6, kind of as the bridge guy between the middle and the back half of the lineup.
So I have Rowdy Tellez 6th. I said your 4, 5, 6 are going to have to be some mashers. So I have Jesse Winker, Rowdy Tellez, and then obviously William Contreras at the 4-hole. So, putting Rowdy there at 6, I think is a good spot for him.
All righty. Number 7, I have Luis Urias. He's definitely a bounce back candidate for 2023. He had 23 home runs in 2021. He slowed down a little bit last year. A little bit of inconsistency, but I think he found kind of a role as like a super utility guy that you can play every single day in a different position and feel pretty good about him. And he's going to get more consistent defensively, I think. And, I think with the Brewers transitioning from some guys like some Colton Wongs and Jace Petersons and more into like Abraham Toro and Bryce Terang, that Luis Urias really gives you some continuity. But I'm going to have Luis Urias batting 7th and potentially giving the Brewers some pop in the bottom of the lineup.
I also have Urias as my 7th guy. I did put down he's a guy that can give you 20 home runs or a guy that can give you a bunch of strikeouts. So you're really getting the best of both worlds, I guess. But Luis Urias is definitely the best of the bottom of the order, so that's why I have him as a 7-hole hitter.
I have Tyrone Taylor 8th just because he's like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but Tyrone Taylor, he's a pretty average baseball player. He is in a similar position, I think, as Keston Hiura, where he's kind of, like this season, if he doesn't improve to a point where we can start him, often, that they might look for a change of scenery for him. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about Tyrone Taylor. But just because he's got the experience and they're, they might not be ready to call up, like you said, the Frelics or the Weimers yet. I have Tyrone Taylor batting 8th.
I also have Taylor batting 8th. He's a guy that occasionally can give you some pop, but he doesn't have a good eye in the box, I guess. Not good enough. If he can improve on that, bring down his strikeout rate a little bit, I think he can be a more consistent player. He's actually pretty decent on defense, I think, but the batting is what really kills him.
All right. And to round out my batting order, I have Garrett Mitchell batting ninth, and I have this for a very specific reason. Because I don't know if you remember back to the Gene Segura days. There used to be some games where they would move the pitcher's spot into the 8 hole and have Gene Segura batting ninth, essentially giving you 2 leadoff hitters. So for me, if Garrett Mitchell's a guy, like he kicked off the Brewers drafts, and I see a lot of people saying the Brewers need guys that can get on base. Their last 3 drafts have been nothing but guys that don't strike out like ever, and they just get on base all the time. That's like their last 3 drafts have been. That's Garrett Mitchell. That's Sal Frelick. That's Robert Moore. All of those guys that they've been drafting for position players have been low strikeout, high on base number guys. Garrett Mitchell is the first of that new wave of player. That's why they're going for the Jesse Winkers. He's a guy who's on a contract year, but if you have a bunch of guys coming up through your system that are going to get on base, you can fill in those boppers on 1-year deals and have all your guys get on base and just have Chris Carter, who comes in for 1 year and hits you 41 home runs.
Yep.
Like the Brewers had in the past. That's what Hunter Renfroe came and did. Like that's what the Brewers are looking for from Jesse Winker. So Garrett Mitchell in the 9 spot, essentially giving you 2 leadoff hitters, can put Garrett Mitchell and Christian Yelich on the bases at the same time with Willy Adames, William Contreras, and Jesse Winker coming up behind them.
That works for me.
I love the idea of Garrett Mitchell and Christian Yelich on the bases at the same time.
I mean, I like that too. That's a lot of speed.
We got to see it once last year, and I think it was Willy Adames that hit like a double down the right field line, and just seeing them both flying around, it's like, oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, dude, and that's when I was like, holy shit, Mitchell can freaking move, man.
Dude.
He can move.
The fact that he can stretch like routine singles into doubles just because people aren't paying attention, and like a regular ground out to second base, and he turned it into an infield single.
He's fast, man.
That happened. That's a thing that happened. He like basically grounded out to second base and turned it into a single because of how fast he is.
That's nuts. My 9 hole, I have Bryce Terang, just because he's the least experienced of the bunch. I think throwing him in here. Not that having Garrett Mitchell. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I liked how your talking that you did there. You kind of changed my mind a little bit, but
Yes.
not that having Garrett Mitchell behind him scares anybody, but just the threat of speed, I guess, is what I will go with. But I just think because he's the least experienced guy left is why I put him on there.
All right. I mean, that's kind of how Garrett Mitchell works, but I do have more of a reason than just he's the youngest guy on the roster, and he's
right.
But Bill said no matter which way we go with the lineup, we're going to be stout and difficult matchup wise, and I agree with that. I mean, we're looking at catcher, looking at William Contreras, Victor Caratini, and Peyton Henry, who could have been in the additions. He was formerly with the Brewers organization. The Brewers traded back for him. First base, looking at Rowdy Tellez, maybe Keston Hiura, Owen Miller, and maybe the newly signed Luke Voigt if he makes the opening day roster. Second base, I'm going to say Luis Urias starts. I do think Bryce Terang makes the opening day roster, just not the starter at that position. And then Abraham Toro is also in the mix there. Third base, I'm looking at Brian Anderson, Luis Urias, who I think is going to be the super utility guy, and Mike Brasso. Shortstop, again, you're looking at all the utility guys. You're looking at Willy Adames, who's going to start, and then Luis Urias, Mike Brasso, Bryce Terang could play some shortstop. And then we mentioned all the outfielders, and then Blake Perkins, Tyler Naquin, and then any potential prospects that come in, or if the Brewers just stick with the guys they have now. But let's get into some pitchers. So I want to know, and I'm glad you asked this question before we started. You asked if we were doing only starting pitchers or if we were doing bullpen guys as well. And we didn't clarify it beforehand. So I know you have a starter and I know I have a reliever. So I know we don't have the same guy. So Brewers fans, if you're watching along with us, comment who you think is going to be the best pitcher for the Brewers season this year. And Jake, give me yours.
So I know that this is going to be vanilla, but I'm going to add into it in my bold predictions. So just hold your thoughts, hold your negative thoughts. I'm going to go with Corbin Burns. Right?
Not mad at it.
I think he's going to have a 16-5 record. He's going to have 250 strikeouts. He's going to have a .92 whip. and a 2.34 ERA. Those are very close to his first Cy Young. I think he's going to win the Cy Young again if he puts up these numbers. Let's just say that right now. These are some nasty
He has
numbers.
250 strikeouts and a 2.34 ERA.
And 16 wins. Yeah, that's going to be pretty damn good. I think I'm going to hold my next thoughts, but I picked Corbin Burns, so we'll go with that.
I went with Devin Williams.
All right.
I think he's going to be the Brewers' best pitcher.
I was like, he probably went Williams.
I think he's going to win reliever of the year. I think he's going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Another All-Star game?
Oh, definitely. I would, if I was close to Vegas, I'd be mashing money on Devin Williams being an All-Star.
I know, man.
Devin Williams in 2022 had the lowest barrel rate in the entire Major League Baseball. Bill said Brandon Woodruff. I think that's a good one.
That's not bad.
Burns. I mean, you can't go wrong with Corbin Burns. Essentially, no. You can't go wrong with Brandon Woodruff either, or Devin Williams. But no. So listen to this. Devin Williams, he's nuts. Mm-hmm. Devin Williams had the lowest barrel rate in all of Major League Baseball last season. 0.9% of batted balls against Devin Williams were on the barrel. 0.9%. Less than 1% of all players that made contact against Devin Williams were on the barrel.
And he still has the best changeup in the game.
Just listen to this stuff here. His batting average versus his changeup is 185.
Oh, man.
Listen to this. Batting average against his fastball, because people are afraid of his changeup, is 0.090.
What?
Listen to this. Whiff percentage against his fastball, 34.9%. Essentially, 35% of fastballs that he's throwing, guys are swinging and missing.
That's over a third.
Changeup, it's 43.9. 43.9% of his changeup that he throws are swings and misses.
Jesus. Wow.
You ready? Literally, Bill, just hold on to your jaw. I'm about to drop 5 stats in a row that are all just insane. So these are percentiles of Devin Williams where he ranks in Major League Baseball. Ready? Mm-hmm. Exit velocity, 99th percentile. Hard hit percentage, 99th percentile.
Oh, boy.
Expected batting average against, 100th percentile. Slugging expected, 100th percentile. Barrel rate, 100th percentile. Strikeout rate, 99th percentile. Whiff rate, 99th percentile.
Holy shit.
Extension, 100th percentile.
My God.
The dude has 20.7 average inches movement on his changeup.
I remember when you dropped that last year. That was nuts.
His changeup drops almost 21 inches. That's almost 2 feet that his changeup drops.
That's crazy.
Exactly, Bill. Bill said, and people wonder why we traded Josh Hader, aside from the fact that he's going to be making $15 million this year.
And
so the guy who's going to pitch less than 100 innings.
The thing that I always go to is, remember when people were giving shit to Devin Williams to start the year?
Yup. I certainly do. Because of small fucking sample sizes. He struggled in literally 1 inning against the Cubs in the first series of the year, and people were freaking the fuck out.
Yep. Never forget.
Never forget. So Devin Williams is my pick for the Brewers' best pitcher. Aside from a catastrophic injury, knock on wood, Devin Williams is going to be just an absolute monster.
Yes. Death, taxes, and Devin Williams changeup being unfucking hittable. Those are the things you can rely on.
Dude, for real. Simon said sports fans don't overreact. You're right. Just Wisconsin sports fans.
Oof.
And I know it's not everybody, but being activists for positivity and open-mindedness at the very least, like it's been rough the last 6 months.
Oof. Yeah, I'm not going to touch that subject. I'm just going to keep going.
We're in happy mode right now, so let's keep it going. Give me who do you think is going to be the Brewers' best position player in 2023?
I really hope we don't have the same player. But
you better not steal my guy, but I guarantee I have stats you don't if we do have the same guy.
I know we both love him, and when I was looking at the roster, I was like, it's almost inevitable that this is the best hitter and defensive player like combined. I picked Willy Adames. Is that who you picked?
Okay, I don't have Willy Adames.
Okay,
I have the other Willy.
Oh, I was like, God, I really hope that we don't both have Willy Adames.
I should have like balked at you that way. I should have been like, I have Willy. M. Contreras.
So here's just a few stats that I think he's gonna put up. I was gonna put wins above replacement, but I was like, it's kind of hard to project.
That's tough to predict.
4.7. He was at 4.7 last year, so I think he'll probably be somewhere close to that again. Maybe a little bit more, above 5, I would say. But he's gonna have a 269 average, batting average.
Nice.
He's gonna have a 330 on base percentage, which is a
all right.
Pretty decent improvement. He's going to have a 470 to 480 slugging percentage. I couldn't decide. I was like, is he going to mash? Is he going to really, really mash? He's going to be all right. I think he's going to have 35 home runs and 105 RBIs. Those are some of the numbers that I'm throwing out there. I do have some pretty crazy numbers for Jesse Winker when we talk about him, but there it is.
So for position player, I have William Contreras, and he's in my bold predictions as well. So I'm going to hold on to part of why I have him in my best position player predictions. But he gives the Brewers a big offensive positional boost as far as catcher goes. The Brewers haven't really had consistent hitting at catcher since the first half of the 2019 season when Omar Narvaez was an all-star. After that, you really struggled, dealt with a little bit of injuries, and then we got Victor Caratini, who had his moments, but overall wasn't very consistent either. So he gives the Brewers a major upgrade at a position of need that they haven't really had consistently since Jonathan Lucroy. We had the one Yasmani Grandal season, which was awesome, but he was only here for the 1 year. So I'm looking for William Contreras to be a set-it-and-forget-it guy in your lineup at catcher that you can rely on for years to come. And the Brewers, the knock on William Contreras is that he's not a great defensive catcher. The Brewers do, however, have a history of turning guys that weren't great defensive catchers into good defensive catchers. 2 guys that I just mentioned are both great examples. Omar Narvaez and Jonathan Lucroy. Neither one of them were great defensive catchers before they came to Milwaukee and became that while they were here. I'm going to save some more of that until we get to bold predictions, but I'm going to have more on that. So this segment comes at the interest of keeping our content consistent. So, during the weeks, we do power pairs. We do that for the Badgers basketball team. We do it for the Bucks basketball team. And we do it for the Brewers. When we do Brewers, we do one pitcher, one position player, and then an underrated performer, which we do for all of our teams, including the Packers. We do underrated performers. James, you got time. You're still here. You still got time to catch more. So Jake and I decided we're going to do an underrated performer. And I think going forward, I kind of want to call it the Hobie Milner Award as far as the Brewers go, because we're basically looking for a guy who is going to fly under the radar going into the season. And then at the end of the season, we're going to look at him and be like, damn, that guy really made a difference this season. And during spring training, I would have never have guessed that he would have been important to the season as he was. So who do you have for your underrated performer going into 2023?
This one's kind of cheating because everybody knows who he is, and he's a pretty popular guy. But because of injury, I think people may forget about him.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to count this, but I have Aaron Ashby as my underrated.
Oh, okay. I like it.
You like that? Okay.
I like it. That's a good one.
I was
like
thinking
it.
about it, and I was like, people are talking about, Jesse Winker coming on. Obviously, very excited about that. People are talking about William Contreras. They're talking about Yelich. They're talking about this situation now with Corbin Burns. Like, there's a lot of stuff going around, but nobody's really bringing up Ashby outside that he's going to start the season on the injury report. Well, maybe a few weeks here, but
Yeah.
I think he's a guy that can solidify the back end of the starting five.
Yeah.
He's a guy that has electric stuff when he's on, and he can absolutely, set him up and knock him down when he's right. So I didn't make any predictions because I didn't know how many games he was going to start, because it's weird with him, because I don't know how, these injuries can linger on. So I'm kind of taking a little bit of risk saying him.
Yeah.
But I am going to say that Ashby definitely has the potential to become a household name in Milwaukee.
I think he's a guy that if he's your fifth starter, like he is for the Brewers, potentially even the sixth starter, like every single team in Major League Baseball would love to have a guy as good as Aaron Ashby as their fifth or sixth best starter.
Yeah, we haven't even brought up a guy, Ethan Small, which you sent me a video on Twitter today from.
Yep.
That guy can be dominant if he gets everything correct in the majors. He's been dominant in the minors.
Like Ethan Small is on almost the exact same career path as Aaron Ashby.
Yeah.
But to Jake's point, like I said, or like he said, I sent him a video today. Ethan Small was informed by Greg Counsell that they're going to use him in some long relief appearances out of the bullpen because the Brewers are a little bit short on left-handed depth, which I think is part of why I have Alex Claudio as such an underrated addition to the bullpen. I think he's going to make the opening day roster. But, I mean, if you look at the bullpen, I mean, it's Joel Payamps, Elvis Paguero, Jansen Junk, Jake Cousins, Hobie Milner, Matt Bush, Devin Williams. I mean, that's kind of where we're looking at right now. That's one lefty, Hobie Milner.
Yeah. Who's great, by the way. But
yes, we love Hobie Milner. Hobie Milner was fucking awesome last year. So Ethan Small potentially into that mix as a left-handed pitcher. Alex Claudio, I think, really is a guy who's going to make the roster. Wade Miley could potentially make some appearances out of the bullpen if the whole starting lineup is healthy. So if guys like Adrian Hauser are healthy and starting, you could use Wade Miley out of the bullpen. If Bryce Wilson finds ways to be making starts, you could be using Wade Miley out of the bullpen. And then, like you said, Aaron Ashby. So for me, I went with another guy in the bullpen, a guy whose name I didn't mention just now. I'm going with Peter Strzelecki. I'm going with another bullpen pitcher, just like Hobie Milner, but Peter Strzelecki made 30 appearances in 2022. He pitched 35 innings. He had a 2.83 ERA and a 141 ERA plus. Now that's where league average is 100, and it's calculated to take into effect like the ballpark you play in and stuff like that. So 100 being like a replacement player. Peter Strzelecki ERA plus was 141 in 2022.
Okay.
He threw 40 strikeouts, only 15 walks, so a solid ratio there. A 220 batting average against, so it's not it's not dominant stuff, but you're talking middle relief, kind of like Hobie Milner was used last year. 5th, 6th, 7th inning. I like Peter Strzelecki in that position. 27% strikeout rate last year for Peter Strzelecki. That's pretty solid, actually. I'll take that. He's got a good fastball slider combo. 15.6 inches of horizontal break on his slider. So his slider moves.
Pretty damn solid.
He's got a pretty good slider. He generates literally double the league average of weak contact. The league average of weak contact last year was 3.8%. Peter Strzelecki generated 7.6% of batted balls with weak contact. Literally double the league average.
Brewers the last 5 years, I'd say, have been really good at pitching, dude.
That's 63. Oh, sorry. This is part of his slider, too. I mentioned that horizontal break. That's 63% more horizontal break than the average in Major League Baseball.
Pretty
So
damn
really
good.
good fastball slider combo for Peter Strzelecki. Generates a lot of weak contact. He gets strikeouts. He doesn't walk a ton of guys, and people only bat .220 against him. So I really like Peter Strzelecki as an underrated performer, a guy that nobody's talking about right now.
That's very fair. That was a good solid pick, man. Good solid pick.
That's why I brought it up, and I'm like, Jake, when we're doing the primer, we're going to pick our best position player and our best pitcher. Like, let's bring up an underrated performer just like we do every week. And, like, I knew who I was picking. I knew right away I was going with Peter Strzelecki. I'm really excited to see what he can do in 2023. We should try to get him on the show. That'd be sweet.
That'd be fire. I would love that.
All right. So, let's do some record predictions. I didn't ask you to do the whole NL Central. I did just based on, I didn't give everybody a record prediction, but I kind of just gave like a ballpark of where I have everybody. But what do you have for the Brewers record prediction for 2023?
I have us winning 93 games,
Ooh,
losing 69 games.
nice. I see what you did there.
Well, I did that kind of for that, not going to lie. And I also did it because that was the same record that the Cardinals won the Central with last season. The exact same record. And I think that it's going to be around that same thing this year. I think the Central is still one of the weaker divisions. Yeah. And I definitely think that the Brewers and the Cardinals are going to be fighting out for the top two spots.
Yep. I strongly agree with that. I'm going to say 88 and 74. I'm going to say the Brewers win 88 games. And this is in either direction. 3 wins in either direction. So I see a path where the Brewers could win up to 91 games, but I do see also a path where they could lose or they could win 85 games. And with that 3 game on each side, that plus or minus 3 wins to the 88, that's also where the Cardinals are going to finish. The Brewers and the Cardinals are going to finish within 3 games of each other. So buckle up, Brewers fans. I think we're going to be in for another season where we're up to the last series, and it's like if the Brewers win 2 out of 3, they're in the playoffs. And if the Brewers lose the series, they might be out of the playoffs. I think that's unfortunately the roller coaster we're going to ride this year, is that the Brewers and the Cardinals are going to be so close that it comes up to the last week of the season to see who wins the NL Central.
But, I mean, don't enjoy it because we won't, if we don't win a ring. Don't enjoy the season and the ups and the downs.
Can't be happy making the playoffs. And
just complain about it.
I'm just going to say this, too, because we bring up the Brewers have been in the playoffs pretty good amount, and we're arguably talking about, like, the best era of Brewers baseball, the Craig Counsell era, that the Brewers have ever had. Like, this is, right now, like, the best stretch of Brewers baseball that we've had.
Well, we've made playoffs for the last 5 years. This is the last year of Counsell's contract when he signed a 3-year extension a couple years ago. So a lot of things on the line here this year. A lot of young guys, a good mix of some good additions, some pitchers. I mean, there's a lot of shit on the line in Milwaukee, and I think I'm feeling pretty damn good about it. Obviously, Bill is too. He predicted us to win 96 games.
Yeah, Bill said 96 games. He picked Wade Miley for his underrated performer. If he returns to form, he could have a big bullpen impact. Yeah, that's a solid pick, Wade Miley. I'm going to go even a step farther, and I'm going to say the Brewers, like to your point, there's a lot of things in flux this year, and Corbin Burnes and Craig Counsell being 2 of the biggest ones, and now Matt Arnold transitioning into, the full-time, in charge of everything role. Mm-hmm. I think the Brewers are teetering. They are on the fence, and 2023 is going to decide if they go either into a full rebuild or become a dynasty.
Oh, that was heavy. Oh my gosh. That was heavy, bro. That was heavy.
Like, I really see the path to either one.
Okay. I see it as well.
And this might be something worth revisiting, but we're looking at a thing where if the Brewers, like Bill says, win 96 games this year, I don't think there's a way where they go, no, we can't bring Corbin Burnes and Brandon Woodruff back. I think it's a point where if the Brewers win 96 games, make a deep playoff run, they're like, no, we have these all guys coming up. Like, let's lock these guys in, we'll go full young guys, and this is going to tie into some of my bold predictions, but we have young guys littered all over the roster. You can fill in around them with one-year deals, and like I said, potentially a dynasty. Or if the Brewers somehow find a way to only win 70 games this year, they could next season, in the offseason, they could trade Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff and Willie Adames and go full rebuild.
Yeah,
I think both of those outcomes potentially hinge on 2023. Could have put that in my bold predictions, but
yeah, that was heavy. That's a good transition to bold predictions. I'll say that.
I will say on the subject of records, I do think the Cubs are going to be right around 500. So probably 6 to 8 games back of the Brewers and Cardinals. They've done enough that I think, like I said, I think they're going to be about a 500 team. I don't think they're going to suck terribly, but I also don't think they're going to be as good as Cubs fans think they're going to be just because they added Dansby Swanson. And Cody Bellinger, who isn't talked about in the same breath as Christian Yelich, even though he's had the similar downfall, but didn't fracture his kneecap in the process.
Yeah, for real.
And then the Reds and the Pirates, they're both going to be between 60 and 70 wins. Going to kind of be just watching a couple really fun young players, and that's going to be the season for the Reds and the Pirates.
Yep, I agree.
All right.
I think O'Neal Cruz is a stud.
He is so fun to watch, and I feel the same way about Hunter Green on the Reds.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch.
I'd agree with that.
All right. You ready to do some bold predictions?
I am. I'm getting them in order in the way that I want to do them.
Okay. You want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I'll start this one.
All right.
So my bold prediction. So a lot of them deal with the team. This one is just a player one, though. So I'm predicting Jesse Winker is going to come back to form in a big, big way. He's going to be a 300 hitter. He's going to hit 25 home runs and 85 RBIs. That's what I'm going to go with. 25, 85, 300 hitter.
Eerily similar to one of my bold predictions that also involves Jesse Winker. My Jesse Winker bold prediction is a career high in home runs, which 25 would be. His career high in home runs is 24 that he did in 2021 when he was an all-star. In 2021, he batted .305, 394 on base percentage, and a .556 slugging percentage at a .949 OPS. Yeah. If Jesse Winker has those numbers again, he'll be an all-star, and he'll mash a bunch of homers for the Brewers, and the Colton Wong trade will just look genius.
I agree.
All right, give me your second one.
All right. Here's my second one. This is the one about the Cubs. The Brewers are going to sweep the Cubs in the season series.
I feel like it's worth mentioning that there is less divisional play this year because there's more interleague play in the 2023 schedule. Mm-hmm. So they're not playing 21 games against each other. But it's still fun. I'm still with it. All right, my second one. You ready for this one? I think you're going to like this one because I have a lot of evidence to back it up. William Contreras was the number 47 pitch framer last season. He will cut that in half and be top 24, higher than his brother Wilson Contreras in pitch framing. Okay. Now listen, that's a big jump to go from number 47 to top 24. But listen to this. So 2021. No, I'm going to go back farther. I'm going to go back to 2019. Omar Narvaez was number 56. In 2020, he came to the Brewers. He was number 1.
Shit.
In 2019, Manny Pena was number 16. And in 2019, Yasmani Grandal was number 3. So lots of sample size here for the Brewers having good pitch framers. Now listen here. 2021, Victor Caratini was on the San Diego Padres. He was the number 50 pitch framer. Last season in 2022, he was number 25. So he went from 50 to 25.
Okay.
2019, Manny Pena was number 12, and Omar Narvaez was number 1 for the second year in a row at pitch framing. After being number 56 2 years prior, he went back-to-back seasons of number 1 pitch framer. after being number 56 in 2019.
Damn.
And then last season, Omar Narvaez was number 6. So Omar Narvaez went from 2019 being number 56 to number 1, number 6.
Jesus.
And Victor Caratini went from 2021 number 50 to 2022 number 25. So my next bold prediction is that William Contreras goes from number 47 pitch framer, cuts it in half, and is top 24 in pitch framing.
All right, I'm with it. I like that you have a supporting argument. Okay. If he mashes and becomes a very good pitch framer, that trade is monster. That's all I'm going to say. All right. I think you're going to like this one. So I have 2 more. So the Brewers win the Central on the final day of the season. Corbin Burns pitches a complete game to get us into the playoffs and locks up his second Cy Young. The Brewers re-signed Corbin Burns to a monster deal, 3 years, $120 million.
Damn.
That one's fire, bro. We win the division on the final day. Corbin Burns goes crazy, and we re-sign him. Bill's not going to like that one, but I like it.
Damn, that is bold, but that's fun.
Imagine that, dude. Yeah, dude, the last 2 I was just like, I'm just going to go crazy.
I see that. Hey, that's why they're bold predictions. They're not lukewarm
possible.
Predictions. They're bold.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to keep them in the realm of possibility, obviously.
Right.
But and I totally agree with you that the Brewers' season is going to come down to the last few weeks, maybe the last day, like we've seen in recent history. So it's just going to happen. The Cardinals are good; they're always good. The Brewers are set up to be really good this year. It's going to be Brewers and Cardinals. We know that going into the season.
Yeah. So, and I'm totally fine with that. Bill's bold prediction is that Brandon Woodruff has a big year. The bullpen comes into form. Burns gets traded, and the Brewers still win 96 games.
That would be fucking nuts, dude.
That is bold, but that's fair. I mean,
he's definitely on board with my Aaron Ashby talk about him rounding out the starting pitching.
If that happened, yeah, I mean those things could play into each other.
True.
All right, so here's my last bold prediction. It involves my guy Sal Frelick, who I am the conductor of the hype train for. Sal Frelick gets called up in August and never plays another minor league baseball game.
Okay. Definitely on board with that. All right. This one's good. I like this one. This is probably my favorite one because it would make everybody happy. The Milwaukee Brewers are going to walk off a Christian Yelich walk-off. The San Diego Padres on Josh Hader to go to the World Series.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Let's fucking go.
Bill likes my Frelick prediction. That's super specific for Christian Yelich to walk off Josh Hader to go to the World Series.
Bro, we go to the World Series, so people stop bitching about that. They stop bitching about Christian Yelich because he plays hero. They stop bitching about Josh Hader because we traded him. Like, come on, man. That's 3
burying the Padres would be fun as well.
Oh, dude. And I looked up the top payrolls, and I was instantly disgusted. And the Padres are in the top 5. I think they're like number 3. But the freaking New York Mets, the Mets are number 1.
Oh, by a lot.
I was like, holy shit.
They've spent almost $500 million.
I know. That's nuts. That's not okay.
Yeah.
And then I heard a rumor going around. I don't know if it's true. You probably know more about it, but about like a kind of like a revenue sharing, almost kind of a cap kind of deal with baseball going around. There's talks about it.
I haven't heard any such things, and I would love for baseball to have a salary cap because I think it would create some parity. Mm-hmm. But baseball also needs to have a salary floor. To prevent teams from going full nuclear like the Oakland A's and the Pittsburgh Pirates have done in years past.
True. I agree.
And what it essentially comes down to is TV money.
Yeah.
People like to say that San Diego doesn't have a big market. They may not have a big market, but they have a massive TV deal that dwarfs the Brewers' TV deal. And, that's part of payroll. That's what it comes down to, and revenue is TV money. So that stuff does matter. I'd like to see ways to even things out, but I just don't think it's ever going to come to a point where they're like, all right, starting next year, we're going to have a hard cap and a hard floor. It's just not ever going to be a thing that the players union ever agrees to, because it keeps the possibilities open for the Mets to sign 5 different guys to 10-year, $300 million deals.
Which is fucking stupid, but whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is. All of that for them to not make it out of the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
I like it. I think this was. I really enjoyed doing this Brewers primer. I like doing our season primers, but
yeah, man.
I got to be honest with you. I think this one has been one of my favorite primers that we've ever done.
Well, I got to say that, one, I think we're definitely getting better. I think we're improving. I think we're getting better at talking to people, involving people. Bill's great, staying in the conversation. James, when we talk shit about the Celtics, he stays in the conversation. Isaac, Tyler just likes to use you as a punching bag for some reason. But I am not going to say that this is my favorite yet, because I really think that the Wisconsin Badgers season primer, that one is going to be fucking bonkers, dude.
Oh, yeah. And we're planning on doing that one live at the end of August. That one's going to be a lot of fun. But all of the ones that we've done, like I think the 2021 Bucks primer was probably one of the best ones, because we won the championship that year. So that one was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this one, the thing about the Brewers is there's like some knowns, like we've talked about, and there's some unknowns, like we've talked about. And like, that keeps it interesting. Like, okay.
That might be part of it. That's a good point.
We know Corbin Burns is going to be good. We know Devin Williams is going to be almost unhittable. Like, we know that people are going to bitch about Christian Yelich when he has an 0 for 4 day, and then the next day he goes 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, and he's running around the bases looking like a fucking gazelle, right? So that's things that are going to happen. So we know what things are going to happen. But the unknown of how William Contreras and Jesse Winker and, is Luis Urias going to get back to the 20 home run days? And is Rowdy Tellez going to have multiple 3 home run days and steal 1 freaking base again? Like, there's things to look forward to that I'm really, really excited about. So
look at all the young guys that we're going to see this year. We're going to see all of them at some point. I don't think we're going to see Jackson Churio in a Brewers uniform quite yet this year, but like Bryce Durang is probably going to be on the opening day roster. Garrett Mitchell is probably going to be an opening day starter. Joey Weimer, maybe. Personally, I don't think he's going to get to the major league level this year, but Sal Frelick, he's part of my bold predictions. I think he's going to put on a Brewers jersey, and he's never going to take it off.
I'm with that.
So, we get to see some of the young guys, and like I said, I really believe that 2023 is a fence the Brewers are standing on, and one side is a rebuild, and the other side's a dynasty. So we'll see what side of the fence they come down on. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think we're going into a season where it's like, all right, it's going to be a rebuild. It's going to be tough. The Brewers are only going to win 75 games this year. I don't think that's the case. No. They're not going to be winning 100 games like the Dodgers and all the other teams that are trying to buy championships. But this Brewers team is going to face some adversity, but they'll be better for it. And that's I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too, man. I'm also looking forward to not being in winter time anymore.
Touche. Yeah, like we're about to sign off, and it's not looking forward to how much snow is going to be outside my door.
I have obviously we haven't checked for an hour and 58 minutes, so this is going to be probably kicking the nuts. I'll just keep it real.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. Well, we thank everybody for sticking with us during the whole show and for watching parts of the show. It's a lot of fun, and
yes,
we will be sending out some Brewers gifts. Simon said he's not looking forward to winters either. Yeah, you're gonna have Alaskan winter, so like you just might as well just not ever open your door. So
ever. It's just gonna smell like
waist. It's gonna be like a Tyrese movie where it's just waist deep all the time.
Oh Jesus. Also, right. Let's just cheer for the Badgers in a positive manner tonight. Let's cheer for them to beat Iowa. It's always nice to beat a rival like that. So just don't go to work, he says. I would agree with that.
Strong considerations for tomorrow.
James, you don't know what freaking winter is, dude. You don't know it. Yeah, exactly. You have no
James is
idea
probably like, I broke out my winter jacket. It was 40 degrees outside today.
Bro, if we have 40 degrees at any time in the next week, which I haven't looked at the forecast.
Monday.
Monday? Dude, shorts. Easy. Not even fucking kidding you. Fucking shorts. I don't care if there's still snow on the ground. Shorts.
It's all going to melt. That's the annoying thing. Like, I'm sick of shoveling just to have it all melt 3 days later.
I know. It's so stupid, bro. Telling you, but whatever. It is what it is, man.
All right. Hey, and if you want to get a yelly hoodie like the one I'm wearing, super comfortable, go check out WiscoBall.com and you can get some Wisco Fanatics t-shirts on the same website. So Simon said get a flamethrower. Yeah, I'll get right on that. Drop one off on your way to Alaska, military man.
Bill, have a safe vacation.
All right.
On Wisconsin, Bucks in 6. This is my crew. Let's go.
All right. Quest for Madness starts tonight against Iowa. So.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.